All right, here we are. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Showtime TV Productions Facebook Live edition. Today's topic of discussion for this evening is spoken word. And right now I have two awesome spoken word artists. I have from New York, Brooklyn, Oscar Sanders, and we have Woman's Own, Crystal Baynard Norman. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
And
Okay,
I'm across the bridge in the Bronx.
okay.
You said Brooklyn.
Okay, Bronx, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No biggie, no biggie. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Omar. Pleasure to be here with you. Glad you invited me.
Okay, likewise. So let's start off with Oscar. How did you become a spoken word artist? What got you into the passion of wanting to be a spoken word artist?
It was basically like it was an evolution of the writing that I was already doing, um, in terms of screenwriting and filmmaking. And I was always a person that wanted to create characters and loved the dramatic. I had a flair for it. So, from writing scripts, I started writing books. My most recent one,
Oh, okay.
final exposing politics, a collection of poetry,
Okay.
spoken word, social justice spoken word, and also a city hall murder mystery. So I also like I like to do that as well. And I love characterization. I love creating things. So that became a natural evolution. And then from there, I had been a jazz guitarist in the 80s, playing with Billy Bang and Michael Carvin and a couple other people. And eventually I went behind the camera, started writing, started making movies. And then I guess that was my true spirit, was to be in front of the camera. And that's what got me back out to do poetry. Because after doing screenwriting and creative writing, then I started doing a poetry book. That book became two plays that I performed called Exposing Politics, a play of acts, and Diplomacy, the act of listening before you speak. And sometimes I hybrid them together, and then it becomes a troubling state, a poignant meditation of the political landscape in America. And then I will perform them in 75 minutes. Then add interaction to it. Ask kids questions and have them imitate the characters that I imitate.
Oh, okay. So
From
bring some fun into it. Yeah.
yeah. So now I started with nursing homes. I started with rehabs and hospitals, and now I'm starting with schools. But I need some more. I need some more help in terms of because there's a lot of politics and a lot of obstacle course when you're talking most board of educations. I mean, that's just it's a bureaucracy. So I'm still learning the ropes with that. While doing a lot of stuff independently.
Okay, Crystal.
Oh, I was kind of like born into it because my mother was a poet.
Oh,
Also, she used to be one of Wilmington's known mistress of ceremonies. She'd be on everybody's Women's Day program, and she always wrote gospel poetry. You know what I mean?
Right.
okay.
As I got older, because I went into the preschool world and I became a preschool teacher, and I too enjoy writing, creating characters, being animated. As you know, I also have a comedian side of me, Martha and Maddie. You've seen our scripts, and we're on YouTube. So when I would go to events, I was invited to my first spoken word event. Oh my God, when I saw them poets perform and without paper, I said, oh, that's it. Paper's out the window, gone. I got to learn this thing by heart. You know what I mean? I got to feel it. I got to draw the emotion. They got to feel my emotion. And so that's what I did. And I really, really enjoy it. And then I had to draw that fine line because I used to do poetry in clubs. I used to be raunchy, but then I toned it down a little bit, you know what I mean? And I started doing it in church, and then I started doing it for different organizations and stuff like that. Making a better world, better self. And so then I wrote a book, just like you did, my man. But mine's called Separating Realities, and it's fiction.
Okay.
It's an awesome book. And it has a poem to it, Separating Reality, which you can feel, and it's like a soul thing, you know what I mean? So that's what got me started. That's what got me into it.
Okay. Now joining us, we have Sharif Green, who's another spoken word artist. How you doing,
All
Sharif?
right. How you doing, brother?
Brave.
How's
All
everybody?
right.
All right. So, Sharif, how did you get started to spoken word, man? All this time I know you, I didn't know you do spoken word.
What heavy, man? Like real heavy. I've been all up in, not all up and down the East Coast, Delaware, Philly. I don't think I ever performed in Jersey, but yeah, I've been around. North Carolina.
Okay.
Ooh.
I don't even know how I got started. I can't remember. Maybe it was in college. Maybe they had like a yeah, or maybe in high school.
It might just be natural, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All right.
How long ago did you go to college, man? I said, how long ago did you go to college?
All right. So let me ask you three. I'm gonna start off with Crystal, then Oscar, then Sharif. When you're performing in front of a crowd, a live audience,
Right.
and you spitting your rhymes, you spitting your poetry, and the audience be like, "Yeah, go ahead, say it," and they stand up, give you a round of applause. What's that feeling like performing spoken word in front of an audience?
That is an awesome feeling for me. It's like a lion being locked in a cage, and when I get on stage, I am enraged. You feel me? So I feel that like deep down in my soul. It's like hard hit the side spitting. That's me. You know, I go get it, and they bring it. They make me bring the noise.
Okay.
Can't explain.
Okay, Oscar.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
What was it like? What is
Oh,
like performing in front of a live audience?
for me, that's like true validation, you know, and at the same time, that for an artist, that's when you totally know that you're clicking with the audience, because you know we can all put things out there, and we see it in all different platforms, art, painting, sculptors, you know, and people look and then they walk by or they don't give a damn. But when you see a person stand there, that's the ultimate validation. You got sculpted. You know, I mean, you know how many people walk by and see sculpting in the street installations? But then you do see people standing there taking pictures.
Right.
So imagine if you're that artist. That means out of all the crap that's going on in the world, you actually saw me. You know, you actually heard me. You actually felt me. And that's what happens when you hear that crowd doing that. That means, because you can go to shows. I've been to shows just like I've been to sporting events, and you can feel energy.
Exactly.
And you feel when there's no energy. Because I've seen it. It's terrible. Like that's like I've been in the audience for like open mics, you know, and like a comedy. Especially I did it a couple of times in Philly and in New York, and it's brutal. It's brutal when you don't connect.
Right.
You know, it's like people you're giving it, and they're looking at you like you got no talent.
All right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's kind of completely different from me. At some point, I can remember it being like that in the beginning, but at some point, like being, especially performing, became like therapy. So I didn't care what the crowd's reaction was. I didn't care what, you know, I would perform a poem that I needed. Like sometimes I write and I need to get that poem out. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like it could be a crowd of young people, and I feel like I gotta get a poem about something that they might not even be able to relate to out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's kind of how it's been with me for probably like the past 10, 15 years. It's like my medicine. So I go on the zone when I'm on stage. I don't even see the audience.
That's me too, Sharif. Me too. That's how I am.
All right. So I want to hear some of these poems. So I'm gonna give you each an opportunity to recite one poem. We're gonna start off with Crystal, Oscar, then Sharif. So go ahead, ladies first.
All right. Well, at first I was going to do the one that goes with my book, but I'm not going to do that now. I switched up, and that's because like I don't know the two gentlemen that I'm performing with. I've never been on stage with you, but I feel your vibe, and I think you guys are really cool. But you need to know, who am I? I am me, just like you are you, and he is he. I'm a woman of morals and standards and spirituality. You see, in me, you now have a new friend because I believe in confidentiality, yet you need to know, who am I? I'm an artist, a teacher, and a poet. I have many more God-given talents. You see, you just need to know it. Well, I wear a canvas on my chest, near my heart, decorating my breast. Now, my talents, these are all gifts from Jah above. So in all that I do, my brothers, I must show love. yet you need to know who am I. I'm the sister that walks down the street, and I'm not afraid of the challenges that life has had me to meet. But then again, I'm also the educator with the booming voice, and I make sure you know, Sharif, that you had a choice. You had a choice. You see, and then again, I'm also that girl that can sling that slang very fluently, because really my age has nothing to do with me. Oh, I'll bring the noise if it needs to come. You see, I don't have a problem dealing with anyone. I can break it down and reach you right where you sit or stand. Never let it be said that I could not converse with my fellow man. Now, I'm sure after all this, you now know who I am. You see, because I am me, just like you are you, and he is he. And if you don't mind, it don't matter, because age ain't nothing but mind over matter. Trust me, if you can't make it, don't fake it. Step back and let somebody qualified take it. And who am I? Crystal Baynard Norman, straight out the box. And I know I'm off the chain. And when I'm going, my words will remain. I say.
All right,
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, Oscar, you next.
All right. All right, this is from my current book, Exposing Politics, a collection of poetry, social justice, spoken word, and I'm performing Yeo's spoken word in my favorite movie, Pirates of Caribbean. This is Captain Barbosa. I do it in the voice of Captain Barbosa. I dare ye sully thy reputation with unholy presumption. Cast ye main starboard like ruin among the bounty. Why must I look at you for inspiration? Why must I look at you ain't misbehaving? I have been sweeping the dustboards beneath your cupboard for a score and a day, plotting for the moment to eradicate slavery away. Contemporary slavery is very much among us, like botulism, a rejected fungus. Not in the hinterlands where some wanted to be, or at least where it seemed to be. Within the far depths of your cranial bastion, within the delights of your Octavius fashions. Ah, let's gaze upon young Bishop. He's a dependable lad. You have hindered his pursuit to be a university grad. With your incessant dependent on low wages, void of future sages. Have you seen the price of mortgage rates lately? Winnie thy whip and chinny thy chain, I labored tirelessly for the East India Trading Company for 3 bloody months and a day, learning the loin of my ilk, the texture of my silk. Shakespeare has nothing on me. He might write about it, but does he have the might? I doubt it. I have lived a life worth a tran, a goat. More than 10,000 pages I have wrote. Keep underestimating the desire of a Negro. He will sew your country into a greater country. And if you smoke weed, you'll probably get the munchies. Forget about that. 15 men on a ratchet winch chest. Yo ho ho, how we get in this mess? I am remiss, a pirate matey. I got me own baby, and I love her. Ahoy, ahoy! I am Lord Sanders, Oscar Sanders. Who the hell are you?
Love that accent.
No.
All right, Sharif.
Thank you.
Go on, Sharif. What you got?
One day, Phoenix, you will be mine. Right now, my eyes are too weak to withstand your shine, so I keep my distance 24 hours behind. I spoke with your brothers, Orion and Leo. They said they sent you a week ago with Queen Virgo, but you could have been with Scorpio for all I know. That freak is always on your ass, but he knows his place is last. 365 days spent chasing you, and yet another year has passed. But I still give chase for a million more, because you touched the spot deep past my crust to my core, and timelessly across the day and night sky we both soar. Can you hear me? Can you feel me? But most importantly, can you see me? Because baby, I'm getting closer. And everything you touch, you give an essence. Even my Uncle Pluto is aware of your presence. And now his cold, dead heart has a beat. He struggles for position with my father Uranus. If Father Jupiter knew of this love game, he would slain us. But so be it, because 1,000 deaths is well worth 1 second of your time. and it seems the whole universe is against us uniting. My cousin Mars would rather see us fighting. It'd be me versus you inside Saturn's ring, but instead of a brawl, we can explain this love thing, but then again, maybe not. You see, my feelings for you has got me going crazy. My thoughts are hazy all because you amaze me. Realistically, we can only meet but a few times out of a decade. My mother's earth is then covered in my shade. I guess they call it an eclipse. But one day, Phoenix, you will be mine. That's the sun chaser.
Woo! Off the chain. I like that.
Outstanding.
That go, look, Sharif, that go my picture right here.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
You know,
All right.
with all that's going on in today's society, there's been a lot of demonstrations, there's been a lot of protests of what's going on with the beating of African Americans and other cultures from different races among the police officers, and there's a lot of things going on right now. Oscar, do you think poetry, spoken word, has play a role in equality, justice, protest, and demonstrating?
Well, yeah, man, because I think not only being education, entertainment, it's also education. And a lot of people are not getting it, and they're not getting the real facts, and they're not getting the history the way they're supposed to get. They're getting corporate news, you know? So, you know, it's all filtered and it's controlled. And, you know, if you're younger and you're in school, forget it. You know, you're definitely not getting anything. So poetry, to me, actually is real school, you know? So, you know, that's like online training, you know, that's like continuing education, you know, for us, I feel. Artists are always, to me, have had a profound impact on society, on revolutions, you know. They jail us. You know that, you know.
Yeah, you had poets like Maya Angelou,
Nikki Giovanni.
Yeah. Toni Morrison. Yeah.
So it's always powerful messages.
Yeah.
Sharif, Oscar, and Crystal, who are some of the poets or spoken word artists that you come to admire? Let's start off with Sharif.
It's a brother called Amir Suleiman that I like a lot. Historically, I like what's my girl's name? Emily Dickerson.
Okay.
Amir Suleiman. I think they're and the Dead Prayers. That's my ones that come to that come to me instantly. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Crystal.
I definitely like some of Nikki Giovanni's stuff, but I also I can't leave my homeboys out. The twin poets, I love them. They are so current and relevant and can speak on any topic. And because I came up working different venues with her, I also love Fran Sean because she's another sister that'll tell the truth.
Right.
Maya Angelou, definitely I love her. Old school going back. And when we just said the revolution, my boys, when the revolution comes, the last poets, I love them. Yeah, the last poets. There won't be no commercials when the revolution comes. That's one that I like.
Okay, Oscar.
Last poets. I'm trying to remember this young lady. I said her name, Sunny Anderson. Sunshine Anderson.
Yeah.
I think she's out of Jersey. Some of them, man, I don't really know their names. Gil Scott Heron.
Okay.
Everybody that Crystal said, you know, the usual suspects, you know, the legendary, the Nikki Giovanni's, you know, the Angela Davis, of course, Langston Hughes, you know.
Okay. When you three are at a venue, let's say for example the venue is all spoken word, and you're amongst your peers, your cohorts, people who do spoken word just like you. What is the feeling of being surrounded by other spoken word artists? Let's start off with Sharif.
I don't know. It depends. If it's a slam, like if it's a slam, the poem that I'm I really perform my poems. So like I got a poem called I forgot what it's called. Like, but I perform my poems if it's a slam. So I'm real animated.
Right.
You know, it's not all words. So I'm feeling like I'm feeling like getting ready for battle. You know what I mean?
Word.
If it's not a slam and it's just like a vibe, you know, that's cool too. And then I'm just trying to get my poem together in my head, because
Right.
being around competition, you know what I mean? You do want your poem to come out clean. You know what I mean? You want to make sure, and then I know sometimes I run it in my head so much, I start messing myself up. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So I guess if you want it to come out clean, if it's just a regular jam, if it's a slam, then I'm feeling like, you know, what I'm gonna say to stand out, what I'm gonna say to really impact everybody.
It's an interesting point. Oscar?
Yeah, well, like Sharif said, well, practice for me, you know, so like I'm always gonna be ready. But what I get from other spoken word artists too is a lot of for me, it's been a lot of energy, you know, and a lot of times I wind up, if I'm going different places, like across the country,
Right.
I usually we all lock in once we find out who we are. You know, we're very cordial. I haven't experienced, like, you know, any like jealousy. Now
Right.
I have experienced, you know, that stuff is around. You know, the jealousy and the envy kind of stuff, that kind of energy. But I'm talking about like on the stage when you're backstage, who you meet, I get nothing but love from them. And in the same way, I think it's great. It's great, you know, because it's artists together. You know, and we're feeding and supportive of each other at the same time. You know?
Definitely. Crystal?
My answer gonna probably be kind of different,
Okay.
because when I go into a venue, especially if it's my first time there, you know, like I cordial speak almost like I don't know you. And that's because I want to be to myself. I want to catch the vibe. I want to see what's going on and how everybody else is putting it out there. You feel me? So you've been in plenty of venues with me, Omar. You see me, I be by myself. I don't mix and match, but we do all that when it's all over. You feel me? Because I know that I got to pull it from the muscle, because number one, in fact, it was a couple months ago, I went to a first time venue, White's Gallery. Diverse Verses gave it. David Harris, whom I love, and he had 10,000 poets there. Some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. You know what I mean? Right. But this was my first time there, and y'all know me. I might not act like it, but I'm definitely a senior. But when I get on stage, like I said, I become enraged and I do me. You feel me? And because I have 3 sons of various ages, and so that's what keeps me vibing. That's what keeps me up. So I gotta know that when I get up there, I know I can't go up there talking about something. I'm so glad to be here today. Yo, what's up? You know, I gotta hit it. I gotta come out swinging. I gotta punch that thing. So, and that's what I do, because that's who I am, and that's what I'm used to. So that's how I am. I stay to myself until my act is all over. And after that, we can talk, hug, whatever.
Definitely. No, Crystal, I want to stay with you and then move on to Oscar. Now, I know, I'm not sure if Sharif wrote a book or not, but I know you two have wrote a book. What's the book about, and how can people get your book?
Okay. The e format of Separating Realities is on Barnes and Noble and Amazon. And I'm gonna just hit the blurb right quick. It says, picture this: the man of your dreams, a new house, some lingerie, rose petals. That all sounds awesome, right? Until your man goes down to the front lobby and disappears from your sight. But what about that girl that rocks your world? And she got her own. She's independent, great job, social and sexy, except she's in love with a ghost. I promise you, the answers to all these statements are true, and they waiting for you as you begin separating reality. Or you can go on my website. I'll ship it to you. I'll autograph it. And you can get the paperback from me. But if you want the e-format to read on your phone, your laptop, your Kindle, or whatever, then you can go on Barnes and Noble or Amazon.
Okay.
And that's www.realities.com.
Okay, Oscar.
Oh, outstanding. What's the Crystal? What's your book? Is Separating what?
It's called Separating Realities.
You know, when I think of
I did the cover. Woo woo! Shout out for the artists.
First thing I think when I hear separate, it sounds like physics. It sounds like a physics book, you know.
No.
Some science, definitely science, but it's science. It's all science.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it is a science.
This is my current book is called Exposing Politics, a collection of poetry, social justice, spoken word, and it's everything that's current. Flint water crisis, pay for play scandal in Albany, New York, the police corruption scandal, how getting jobs that take us to another place, create new problems. More, as Puffy said, more money, more problems. But I got new levels, new devils. You know. So and you can pick this up on Amazon, but if you want it autographed, then you come to my website, the Malcolm Shop, like Malcolm X, the Malcolm Shop at malcolmentertainment.com.
Okay, Sharif.
MALCOM Entertainment.
Yes.
Okay, Sharif, I'm gonna give you our last word for any words of encouragement for any 11, 10, 12-year-olds who want to become spoken word artists. What words of advice do you have for them?
Be yourself and write from the heart. Keep your journal near you so you can jot down your ideas and just hold on to your journals forever. For me, when I write a poem, I rarely write a poem. It rehearses itself in my head for years.
That's amazing.
And then
wow.
so when I do come to writing it, I already know it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it has to, every line has to mean that much to me. And if I was to all put them together, I probably got a good 20, 30 poems. You know what I mean? And I didn't even know I was going to be reciting a poem today. But when you said it, 3 of them jumped into my head. You know what I mean? Go. And the fact that, you know what I mean? That was just one of them. So yeah, just keep your journal near you, jot them down, keep your journals forever of your poems and write from your heart, man.
Okay, so all 3 of you were awesome guests. We gotta do this again, and the next time I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do like over an hour episode. But this will show on my TV show on Comcast Channel 190, so that's why it was a 30-minute segment. But we're all gonna stay in touch, and thank you all for coming on, and thank the viewing audience for watching another edition of Showtime TV.
Outstanding. Thank you, Omar.
All right, thank you.
Nice meeting everybody. Sharif,
nice
Crystal, keep it going. We gonna share the stage one day.
All right.
See you somewhere, Miss Crystal. I seen you perform.
Have a good one.
All right,
All right,
take care, everybody.
All right,
All
guys.
right.